So we have the dismantlement of the Department of Education. We have the federal government bullying colleges and universities like Columbia, and now it looks like Harvard University, into silencing and stifling dissent and critical thinking. We have MAGA-controlled states that are dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into voucher and privatization schemes that not only do they know don't work, but they actually have a negative impact on the quality of education in those states. We have MAGA-controlled states that are banning books, censoring curriculum, whitewashing history, dumbing down the curriculum to satisfy standardized bubble sheet tests that have no meaning whatsoever. Every assault against public education that you can think of and imagine has been launched by the right-wing movement in the last 30 years, but has escalated in the last few years. What's going on? We have right-wing activists like Christopher Rufo who are dedicated to making sure that a non-MAGA thought doesn't exist in public schools and public education. What is going on? Well, I mean, if you take a look at the data, the most obvious explanation is educated people don't vote for MAGA. Educated people do not vote for authoritarianism overall, right? What's going on? Well, look, this is not a critique of anybody's intelligence. Education in and of itself, it does not necessarily equate with intelligence. But what education does is it provides you the tools to focus and to use that intelligence in effective and efficient ways, right? It's kind of like your arm. Your arm has a certain amount of strength. That's your intelligence. But no matter how strong you are, it's really hard to drive a nail with just your arms, right? Maybe you can do it, maybe you're that strong, but it's not particularly effective. Put a hammer in my hands, and now all of a sudden I can drive all the nails I want, right? The arm strength is your intelligence. The hammer is the education, right? And when people have that hammer, when they have those screwdrivers, when they have those tools to analyze and evaluate the things that they're being told and the things that are being reported to them, and they have the tools to be able to formulate their own ideas and opinions that are valid and reliable and logically consistent, then that leads you away from the nonsense that's being spewed by MAGA and the MAGA right? Now, that's kind of a surface analysis, right? It's not just about that. I mean, that's the easiest explanation, but let's dig a little bit deeper, right? What else does a lack of education do to individuals? Well, a lack of education in our modern society, our contemporary society, is most likely to lead to being socially and economically precarious, right? To be in a condition of insecurity, and more likely to have those low-paying jobs, no benefits, living on the edge economically every single day, right? And also, it's a status hit. You have people who are well-educated that have that higher status, and there you are. You know you're just as intelligent as they are, and yet they have the status. So there's this sense of resentment on the part of less educated people as well, right? And that is the fuel, that is the coal of the MAGA movement. That is the nitrous oxide of the MAGA movement. The MAGA movement feeds on insecurities and resentments, and those insecurities and resentments are elevated in less educated people. So, and it kind of creates this, virtuous cycle, right? I am insecure and I am resentful. Now MAGA comes along and they start feeding me a bunch of nonsense that affirms that insecurity and those resentments, right? It affirms that, hey, your insecurity is not your fault. Your resentments are perfectly natural and perfectly okay. We share those resentments, right? And then, because you don't have the tools, they're able to focus you away from the real issues about your insecurities and your resentments. It's not that you are working a minimum wage job for a company that's raking in billions of dollars in profits, right? No, that's not the problem. The problem is immigrants. The problem is DEI. The problem is critical race theory. The problem is those people, the liberals, the Marxists, the radicals, the socialists, the this, the that. and never actually get a chance to actually look at the things that really are the problem. So it creates that virtuous cycle, right? I have these resentments, and then I have a focus for those resentments, and then the MAGA movement, the MAGA politicians pass policies that not only do not help you become more secure, not only do they not help you deal with those resentments, but they actually make you more insecure. They make your life more precarious, and then feed on more of those insecurities, more of those resentments. You got that virtuous cycle going on. And without that virtuous cycle, MAGA doesn't exist. There's your war against education.